Hello world, I am Real Talk Kim, and I am so excited. This is my very first podcast where you actually are in the room with me. Like, you're actually getting to watch my moves. So I got to behave and be a part of almost like a Real Talk Kim show. And I'm so excited that you are watching. I'm excited that you have supported me all of these years. I think I've been doing this for about 3 years. And I normally would be sitting in my bed with my phone sitting on my chest. And this new season where I've partnered with Ye to get my podcast to another level has been a challenge for me because it got me out of my comfort zone. So I'm really excited about this new venture. You can right now share this with somebody. That's what you can do. You can share this podcast with somebody that is walking through transition in a relationship, people that are wanting to get in a relationship. This podcast is going to be real. It's going to be transparent. It's going to be relatable. It's going to be raw. We're going to talk about stuff that nobody else will talk about because y'all know that's just what I do. And people that want to know how to get unstuck is going to want to listen to this podcast. So right now, I want you to press that subscribe button. You can even watch this on my YouTube channel, my Real Talk Kim YouTube channel, and go watch it over and over if you need to. But right now, go subscribe to my YouTube channel wherever you're listening from. We're on every platform. And while you're at it, push that share button and share it with somebody in your family. Maybe you want to tell your family something and you can't tell them because they're petty and you want to tell them something that they need to see. I will do that for you. I will be that voice for you. You're welcome. You're welcome. So go do that right now. Also, while you're at it, give me some stars. Go give me 5 stars because people that don't know who I am, go and look at those stars and see what this podcast is about. And they hear your voice through those comments and those the information of the stars, and it will let them know that they need to subscribe to this podcast as well. So, man, today, let me just tell you what we're going to be talking about today. Today, we're going to be talking about how to start dating again after a divorce, a death. Maybe you've been with somebody and they kept promising you they were going to marry you and they never did. And now you're struggling with the fact that you've wasted, or you think you've wasted, all of these years. Today, I'm going to give you tips on how to start over and what to do different. Because y'all know I've been divorced. I was married for 18 years and to my son's father and loved his guts. Preacher's home, raised in a really strict religion that said if you get divorced, you're going to hell on a slip and slide. Well, that marriage ended after 18 years of us fighting so hard for it to work. I took 5 years off to heal, did not heal appropriately, got back in another relationship, and 3 years ago, that relationship ended. And I had to mourn and move because then I was pastoring a church, and I had an inner circle, RTK inner circle, that needed me to get it together. And so now, 3.5 years later, I've started dating again. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. And I'm going to let y'all in on this journey of how it's working for me and different types of emotions that I have while I'm in the process. Because a lot of times you don't really know. You don't really know if you're healed until you step back out into that season of dating again and opening your heart. All right. So y'all, I'm excited. I got a lot of great stuff for you today. Real Talk Kim here. Share, subscribe, and I love you. And I will be right back to chop it up. Welcome back. Man, this is like the coolest thing ever because I feel like today that God has downloaded some really great information for me to give you, because reality is that it feels really difficult whenever you're in a season of, man, starting over. Because truth be told, a lot of times we want to, it's easier to bleed on people that didn't cut you because you never allowed yourself the wonderful blessing of healing. And so today I want to talk about dating after divorce and what to do differently if you are coming back onto the scene. So what can you do differently? Because when I started thinking about the difference in the last time, because I was one of those serial relationship people. Like, I was raised in the strict religion that you as a woman, what you did was get married. That was your mission in life, was to get married, take care of a man, take care of kids, and never get divorced. Like, divorce was death. You get divorced, you're going to hell on a slip and slide. And so when it did happen, you felt less than, you felt unworthy, you felt like you weren't worth fighting for, you felt like you were off the couture rack and on the clearance rack. And so I was 36 years old when I walked through that divorce after 18 years. And my whole identity was in that relationship. And so when I walked through the divorce and I had no choice and I had to start over again, I didn't know how to heal because there was nobody in my family that had ever walked through a divorce. So a lot of times what happens is there's no structure. There's no point of contact of someone that can say, this is what you do. Therapy wasn't even really a cool thing to do in 2006 when I walked through my divorce. It was almost like if you went to therapy, it was a plague. And so here I am, moving back in with my mom and dad, working at Bloomingdale's at 36, working at Belk, Bloomingdale's, a single mother, and trying to heal while I'm working in retail. And y'all, when I walked through that divorce, I had to work. And I couldn't go on vacation with my family. You know, my family's going to Hawaii on vacation, taking my kids, and I'm working. I remember even getting on y'all listen to this. I remember they went to Hawaii and I'm feeling sorry for myself. And I'm probably 36, 37. And I decide I'm going to do an eHarmony profile. I decide that I'm going to do an eHarmony profile while they're gone because I'm feeling sorry for myself. And I do this eHarmony profile, and all I've ever been around is church. I've never really been around dating dudes that, you know, was in the world and didn't know anything about church, and I wasn't really that saved myself. And at this point, because I was mad at God, you know, I was just mad. I was just a mad, bitter woman because my relationship ended. And I was trying to fill voids, right? And I remember I did this eHarmony profile, and I remember all of these men like contacted me, and I started feeling overwhelmed. And there was one dude that he lived near Lenox, which is where I worked, and I thought it can't really hurt for me to go meet this guy. Now, you don't understand. I had no friends, so there was nobody that could be like, girl, this is a total catfish. Just, you ain't even ready to date yet. Like, I had nobody. Nobody knew I made a profile. And so I made a date with him, and we went one day on my lunch break. And I remember I walked into the Mexican restaurant, and I said, I'm here to meet somebody. I was a nervous wreck because all I've ever dated was church boys. And I walk in this restaurant and I said, I'm here I'm meeting somebody. And they said, oh yeah, we were told this hot girl was going to be here. So you must be her. Here, let me walk you to the table. Y'all, how about when I got to that table, it was, this dude had put up a whole picture of him in high school. Now he's about 5 sizes more than that picture, and he had no hair, and I'm devastated. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is what I have to look forward to. After 18 years, now I got to be back out here in this pond with liars. And I remember that day feeling so defeated. And so what ended up happening was I ended up dating a couple of times, people that were in the church. And then I kept getting my heart hurt because I was not healed. And I remembered in that season realizing that one night I'm laying in my bed and I'm like, God, if you're not going to heal my marriage, which it had already been 2 years, if you're not going to let us get back together again, because, you know, I was comparing everybody to him. If you're not going to, and it wasn't good. All right. The relationship wasn't good that I was comparing it to in the first place. But I'd rather stay with somebody broken than be alone, is how I looked at it, because my worth was connected to a man. I remember laying in my bed when I was like, if you're not going to heal my marriage, then at least heal me. And I remember clearly that night laying in that bed, and the joints in my fingers were aching, because I decided that night, because I heard God. He dropped in my spirit, Kimberly, I can't take the pain away. You got to get up and walk away from it. And it was like, for the first time in my life, it dawned on me, oh my gosh, like nobody can do this for me. Nobody. I've already been on Ambien. I've already been on Xanax because of a man. I've already felt stuck. I already felt all these things. I already felt unworthy. I already felt used up. I already felt unworthy to fight for. And here I am now having to deal with me. And that's what I did. I dealt with me, decided to put a do not disturb up on my heart and allow myself to heal. And then when I started getting to a place where I was healing, I literally felt so good that I thought I was ready to date, right? Because I was so used to deprivation and pain that now all of a sudden I'm feeling like a whole boss, because I'm getting my confidence back, and I'm feeling happy again, and I shook depression off of me, and I'm taking care of myself, and I put myself out there again, and ended up a man slipped in my DMs on Facebook, and he was a preacher, and he was 15 years older than me, and I'm still living in my mom and dad's house with my 2 sons, 5 years, and I thought, this dude is gonna save me. He's 15 years older. He's going to save me. Ended up being a train wreck. 8 years. And when I tell you 3 years ago when that thing ended, I decided at that moment, I'm not the same girl that I was when I walked into that previous relationship. And I'm not going to be mad at him. God ended up, I walked through a really rough time with him, and I felt like I was stuck. And I was willing to stick it out because I'm loyal to a fault, and I didn't want to disappoint God. And by this time, now you got to remember, when I met this dude, I wasn't in ministry. I was still working at Bloomingdale's. I never dreamed in a million years that God was going to open the windows of heaven over my life and let me be preaching on the biggest platforms in America. I never knew that. I have the greatest relationship advice on the planet, right? But here I am. I'd found myself in this situation. I mean, I can tell you how to keep a man and how to lose one, okay? Like, I have life experience. And here I am thinking, man, this is not good. And God took care of it. He allowed some things to come out, and exposure took place on live public platforms, social media platforms, and God gave me a way out. And so when he did that, I remember I got actually served divorce papers. I was at my house, and I didn't see it coming. And a knock came on my door, and this lady was standing there, and she said, "I'm so sorry." And she handed me divorce papers. And I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me right now. Like, it felt like deja vu. And then I had to realize at that moment that either I'm going to get stuck here or I'm going to keep moving. I gave myself 24 hours to cry. And I did. I cried because in that process, I realized that I was sleeping with the Judas. Things I thought he was supposed to protect, and, the things that I thought was my reality was not. And so within 24 hours, I started seeing and hearing, and oh my God, I didn't even know who I was married to. And I gave myself 24 hours and told God, I'm getting up after this. And I did. And I kept a church together in the process, pastoring a church, brand new pastoring a church, walked through this divorce on social media. I mean, everybody was talking about it. Never made a statement because God told me to hush and live so nobody believed what he was saying, and he would vindicate me. He said, your fruit will outlive their lies. And he did it. God did it. And literally in the process, there was elevation in the breaking of that relationship, because sometimes rejection means, listen to this, rejection When someone rejects you, it's because God lets them reject you because their character can't keep up with your purpose. And so it ended up being the greatest gift for me. And I'm not even mad. Like I found out in that process that I didn't have to hold on to anger. I didn't have to hold on to bitterness. And that because I was in such a great place with God and in my mind and in my heart, I knew for a fact that God knew the reality. And God allowed me to be in this situation. He's not shocked by it. And he's not shocked by your situation either. He's not shocked by it. But sometimes God will allow your plans to be wrecked because your plans are about to wreck you. Sometimes God will break your spirit to save your soul. He knows the beginning from the end. He knows what's going on. He let that friend walk out of your life because he heard conversations that you didn't hear. He knew it. And rejection was not necessarily someone wanting out of your life, but somebody God needed out of your future. And so here I am today. Proof of a living God that gives you grace and mercy. And you don't have to be loyal to your mistakes, but you do have to heal. The pain may not be your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. And so here I am 3.5 years later and walking through this new season of allowing myself to be open again. You know, I went through the whole process of I ain't never gonna love again. I mean, we're staring at Thanksgiving 2022, right? My Thanksgiving this year and last year looks completely different. My Thanksgiving this year looks completely different from 3 years ago. And that's what you have to hold on to today. That your Thanksgiving might suck. You might be sitting at the table with your family this Thanksgiving with an empty chair beside you, because that 17-year marriage ended or that 30-year marriage ended. And now you're staring at an empty chair and you're feeling like a failure and you're feeling like all these years you worked for something is down the tubes. And I want to tell you right now, no, it's not. This is just a season and not a sentence. So I want to walk you through how I'm doing it. How am I doing this dating thing again? Because this time I can't just date anybody. I got a whole church. I got 2 locations. Limitless Church is my church I pastor here in Fayetteville, Georgia, and in Atlanta, Georgia. Limitless Church. And so I got all these people watching. I've got an RTK inner circle with thousands of people that I mentor. I can't just be careless, right? So I have to be careful. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I'm never, ever, ever going to date again. And then somebody swept in my life that I've known for 13 years that's always been a good friend of mine. And then one day we met again and I'm like looking at him a little differently than friend zone, right? So what am I doing this time that's different? Y'all ready for this? I want you to get your Real Talk Kim podcast journal out right now because we're going to go on a journey. And I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about relationships a lot. And I'm going to take you in on this journey of my world of love again. All right? And so you and I can do this thing together, and hopefully we'll both do things right this time. Or some of you will be the first time that you've fallen in love. So you ready for this? Number 1, you have to know that chemistry doesn't always mean a long-term relationship. All right? We feel like, or the old me felt like, that I got to have all these butterflies, right? Lust and love feel a whole lot alike until it comes to selflessness and sacrifice. Lust ain't gonna do that, right? And so lust is nature's way of tricking us into attachment. And all of a sudden, we are craving the excitement of a spark-filled romance. And it's understandable, right? It's understandable because here we are. If you're like me, you hadn't even thought about dating ever again. And then all of a sudden you meet somebody and you open your heart up and then you have to go through all of these emotions, right? Of is this for real or is it not? Listen to me. You have to build a relationship of friendship first. It's really easy when you encounter somebody, right, that I'm 50 years old now. There's way more things important to me than a 6-pack or, somebody that just when he walks in a room, my heart's going crazy. No, I need to know, right? I need to know where we're going, what's your goals, how do you walk through tough seasons. But if you don't allow yourself to slow down and get to know each other and only depend on the lust factor, that lust goes away, y'all. You gotta allow yourself to make the connection of friendship first, right? Make sure, number 2, you gotta make sure that you're actually over your ex. Make sure that you're actually over your ex and ready to date. All right? The ink may be dry on your divorce papers, but that doesn't mean you're completely ready to move on, right? Of course, that's understandable that you want to move on. But if you can't stop talking and thinking about your ex, you are not ready. You're not ready. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to get involved with this new person that could have been amazing for you. And then you are seeing signs, right, of something that's not healed in you. And all of a sudden you are causing yourself to lay in bed at night with nervous panic attacks because you felt something that your ex made you feel. And this person that's new in your life may not be anything like your ex, but because you haven't healed there, now you're opening up a wound in you that is going to cause you a lot of great distress, right? So whether listen, if you're even talking about your ex like he was a god, like, oh my God, I remember the greatness. Well, you would still be with this ex if he was so great. Okay, let's really be honest. Like if this ex was really, they're an ex for a reason, right? So if this ex that you're judging everybody off of is all that, you would have still been with him. So you have to make sure that you are over your ex. And you're over your ex when you don't think about him anymore. There's no reason for you to be talking to his mama every day, trying to figure out what he's doing, or stalking him on social media, or her, right? You gotta make sure. You may need time. If you're praising them, talking about them, the last thing you need to do is be talking to this new person in your life about your ex. He don't want to hear that. She don't want to hear that. But if you can't quit talking about them, you need to take a break and allow yourself to heal. You're not healed yet. You're not healed yet. You have to take the time to heal, to let go of resentments, and to come to a healthy emotional place before you can be open to a new relationship. Period. You are, y'all, in this new relationship that I'm in right now, I have had to die to my flesh, humble my tail, communicate, because communication kills assumption. And I never had someone that liked to communicate before, right? I'm learning. I'm still learning myself. And so if I wouldn't be open to the communication piece, then I'm going through life with an assumption in my head of what the situation is that it's not. I would be the type of person, because my exes were like this, like they were selfish. So I always had a propensity to be like, you want to go with me here? But if you don't want to, then you don't have to, right? Well, that's basically saying to him, he could hear it as, I want you to go, but I'm only asking you because I feel bad for not asking you. And you're over here thinking, I want you to go so bad, but you may not want to, so I'm going to give you a way out. You see how crazy that is? So you have to deal with these things. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to take time that you need, and don't let well-meaning friends pressure you into dating before you need to date, right? Here's another one. Take it slow. Take it slow. The first few dates, take it slow. It's not prudish to tell them, let's just go hang out. Let's do a football game. Let's go to a park. Let's talk. But but take it slow. Anyone can hook up, but a really great relationship requires good communication and feeling safe with that partner, with the new person that's coming into your life, right? Because you're going to have to get to know how to date again. You're going to have to know how to ask the right questions. Here's another one. This one is hilarious. You ready for this? Watch out for people that act too perfect. They've been married 3 times, and none of those 3 times were their fault. Every single ex was a psycho. Could it have been that you made them the psycho? Like, y'all, I literally had a friend one time that was married to a man that had 3 kids, and he never kept up with those kids. He didn't check on them. He didn't pay child support. And in her head, she believed everything he said. Therefore, she got married to him, had 2 more kids with him, and did not think that he was going to do the same thing. Listen, when you go out on dates with somebody that don't take care of their kids, they're not going to take care of yours. You go out on dates with men that treat their mom like crap, they're going to treat you like crap. Like, there's signs, there's red flags, but a lot of times y'all don't listen to the red flag. I didn't. I'll never forget. People would ask me, you didn't see the red flags? I was like, yes, I just thought it was a carnival because I wanted so bad to have a relationship that I was willing to risk and not ask the questions, right? Oh my God, I remember when I was about to marry the man that I walked through the divorce with 3 years ago. I had 3 women reach out and warn me of this situation. And I'll never forget my mom saying, what are you going to do? Now, I wasn't in ministry. I wasn't even really saved like I should be. I wasn't thinking about nothing. But I remember my mother asked me, what are you going to do if what they're saying is true? I was like, well, we'll just get divorced. What? So basically, I walked into this thing being warned, and then I gave myself an out. No wonder it didn't work really in the long run, because I didn't listen to the red flags, right? And here I am. The devil was laughing because he knew that God was going to take me to another level and that I was going to fall in love with Jesus in those 8 years and that he was going to trust me to preach the gospel and to love little thumbnails. Millions of y'all follow me. He knew that millions of people were going to love me and I was going to get to love them in little thumbnails. And that all of a sudden this was going to be a public display of a divorce. He knew all this was going to happen, right? But what he didn't know is I was going to bounce back this time and I was going to get better and I was going to do it God's way this time, right? But I had all these signs, right? Watch out for anyone who seems too perfect. Never are you more in need of validation and affection than after ending a serious relationship. And while that's totally natural, it can set you up to be victimized. And one of the red flags that a date doesn't have good intentions is they are flawless. I'm telling y'all, I want to know what happened, how you with your kids, right? I want to know, because I'm 50. It's going to be I'm definitely not going to marry somebody that ain't never been married, because why ain't you been married? You know, are you a diva? Are you, what? We're 50. We're 50, you know, why are you still single at 50? You a problem. And nobody wanted you? What? So I already this time knew. And so now, I mean, I don't serial date. I don't just go out on dates. I'm not just out here on dating apps. If you're on dating apps, that's wonderful. I'm not on dating apps. I'm not even going that route. It's not even an option for me. But if I've talked to someone, because I've had people talk to me before, you know, in the last 3 years. And if they act pompous or like they ain't never done nothing wrong, I'm like, boy, bye. You know what I'm saying? No. It may sound counterintuitive, but if they check every single box on your list, shower you with gifts, text or calls all the time, push for quick commitment, make incredible promises, or want to be the only person in your life, you may be dealing with someone who is looking to control you. A narcissist. knows they play on women that want to get in a relationship. And I'm telling y'all, that may sound so dramatic. And yeah, sure, there's a chance you really have landed royalty. But that points out that the harsh reality is there are a lot of people out there who aim to take advantage of women in their 40s, 50s, and guess what? You ain't immune to it. I'm not immune to it. So all I'm saying is, if they too perfect, they probably phony. Okay? So stop thinking that this relationship that you're building now or gonna build is gonna be perfect all the time. It's not. Y'all gonna have some stuff you need to work through. Number one, you've been married before. They've probably been married before. There's probably kids, and we're gonna talk about blending families next podcast, because that ain't no joke. But stop thinking that it's gotta be perfect all the time, and allow yourself to communicate better this time, okay? Here's another one. One way to stay safe is to get regular reality checks from close friends and loved ones who can offer an outside perspective of your situation. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all, in this new journey that I'm on with my +1 friend, I've known him for 13 years. This dude took care of me when I was partying and nay-naying and not praying. I'd be drunk after Bloomingdale's and he'd come take me home. Like, we were just friends like that. Like, he just has always had my back. And I still have found myself in the last 6 months going out with him, finding myself feeling vulnerable and pulling away. And my friends, my mother, my family has had to keep me a reality. They've had to be able to talk to me so that I don't mess up something that could be good, right? And let's see. I'm almost done, y'all. Okay, here's the last one I want to give you. Forget your type. We got this whole idea of my type, right? Forget whatever you think your type is. You don't have the same clothing style as you did when you were in high school, and thank heavens. So why would you have the same taste in dates? While you absolutely want to look for someone with similar core values as yours, are definitely core values. Y'all gotta love Jesus. If they don't pray, they can't stay. Y'all gotta be equally yoked. You can't be dating a Mormon and you over here being a Christian. We can't be doing none of that. You can't be settling just because you are older now, right? And think ain't nobody gonna love you and your saggy skin. That's all lies. The right one is gonna love all of you, all of your bumps and lumps and sag, right? So don't allow yourself to get caught up in they have this right, but I don't like this, I don't like this. No. Allow yourself to figure it out as you go and keep an open mind. So while you absolutely want to look for someone with similar core values to yours, a divorce gives you the perfect excuse to let your ideal type evolve. Take the time to figure out what is truly important to you. And guess what? You may be surprised at who your ideal partner is. I knew this dude 13 years. And one day we reconnect and I see him completely different. Why? Because my desires evolved. My needs, I'm grown, right? And so here's what I want to tell you. Allow yourself, mom, dad, to let your heart love again. Allow yourself to tell your heart right now, it's time for you to beat again. Stop walking around saying, I don't need no man, when everything on the inside of you, you know you want a man. Because God created us for relationships. So stop being hard. Stop, this is me, take it or leave it. We gonna all leave it, okay? Get healed. Allow yourself to fall in love with you again. Realize that person that rejected you because they needed to reject you, because God's got somebody so much better in your life. He's going to bring somebody that's going to blow your mind, okay? So where you are is not permanent. It's temporary. You're in a temporary position. You're not staying here. You're not going to be overlooked. You're not going to be single forever, all right? But allow yourself to enjoy the process and allow yourself to take some good people that you got in your friend section. Who knows, right? Who knows? Get to know somebody and allow yourself the opportunity. What you got to lose? What do you have to lose? You ain't dead, which means God ain't done. And on these next few weeks, we're going to talk about wasting your time. Some of y'all just been wasting your time. Some of y'all, you got all your kids, got your baby's daddy's last name, but you don't. Some of y'all giving the milk away. Why is it going to buy the cow? Some of y'all have lowered your price, and we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about blending families. And we're going to be on this journey. We're going to talk about everything. And I'm going to help you enjoy your life because I'm going to share all of my learning process with you. All right. So listen, I want to right now throw this to a commercial and I will come back to finish this up. I want to close today out this way, okay? I want to encourage you to talk to somebody, a therapist. Not always good for your mom to be your therapist because your mom has already got preconceived ideas of what she thinks you need. She's already watched you walk through and get your heart broken. She's already watched her kids have to find themselves after the divorce. I would encourage you to find a good therapist. Even if you just go once, to sit down and allow yourself to sit with somebody that don't know you, that can point out to you blind spots. Let them talk to you. Let them walk you through some ideas, right? Because being divorced isn't something to be ashamed of, but it does mean you've got some things to work through, especially if you want the next relationship to be better. All right? And if you think the breakdown of your marriage was all due to your ex's problems, that's even more of a reason to get therapy. A good counselor can help you work through all your complicated feelings and create a solid foundation for love. You hear me? And so I want to encourage you. Everybody needs Jesus in therapy. And I also think that it would be very beneficial for you to get in my RTK inner circle. And you can find that on my website, realtalkkim.com. I mean, I do life with you. I help you not stay stuck. Because you listen to me, y'all. You're not stuck. Because you're not a tree. You just won't let yourself be all the way free. Because we women, especially, put walls up to keep out pain. And I don't want you to do that because I know that I serve a God and you serve a God up in heaven that created you for relationships, right? One will put 1,000 a flight, two will put 10,000 a flight. And so today, I hope you took notes and I hope that through this podcast that you start allowing your heart to really, really heal. And I'm believing out of this podcast, we're going to have a lot of marriages take place. And we're going to have a lot of businesses started. We're going to have a lot of best-selling authors come out of these podcasts. The first millionaires in your family. The first generational curse breakers are coming out of this podcast. Because I have an anointing on my life to help people get free and activate. Why? Because I've walked through. I never will talk about anything on this podcast that I have not walked through and conquered. I have free life college and I'm anointed because of the crushing that I made it through. So let me just tell you something. It ain't over because you're still here. And as long as you ain't dead, God ain't done. So I want to pray over you today. All right. And I want to pray that God begins to reveal hidden places on the inside of you that may have been a love repellent, so that you can walk in your total freedom. All right, Father, I just thank you right now for my beautiful podcast family that's watching this today. And even those that are watching this 20 years down the road that just came upon this podcast, that we understand that you are a God of divine appointments. This was a divine appointment today. So Lord, I pray that you open up the hidden areas inside of us that we're sabotaging ourselves with, areas that we don't want to let go of. Maybe it was walking through a divorce with our mom and dad at a young age, and now here we are repeating the cycles. Saying, I don't want to be like my mom, and here we are becoming just like our mom. Today, I pray a fresh, new beginning for us. That we give ourselves permission to really heal and realize that beautifully broken is where God does his best work. And we realize that Amos 9:13 says, it won't be long now, God's decree said things are about to happen so fast, our heads are about to spin, blessing upon blessing. We won't be able to keep up. So today, Father, I pray for my friends. I pray for their hearts. I pray for their minds. And I pray right now that you download the most exciting spirit in them. Just almost like like a kid excited at Christmas, that today they realize, oh my God, I thought my life was over, but it was really just beginning. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen. Y'all, I love y'all so much. Thank you again for sharing this podcast right now. Share it with your friends. Share it on your news feeds. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for loving my content. Thank you for being a part of my world. You can go to realtalkkim.com and stay connected, or download my free app. Go to your Google Play Store, Apple Store, and download the Real Talk Kim Go app. I love you so much, and thank you for doing life with me. I'll see y'all next week.